97.3 Citi FM. It doesn't get any better than that.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. Citi News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News.
It's 1700 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou, and tonight on Eyewitness News, opposition New Patriotic Party NPP demands public inquiry into allegations of bribe payment to some politicians in the AXA deal of a decade ago. We'll be hearing what more they want to see beyond what happened in the United States of America. Also, coming up, the center fails to hold in Tema as the Metropolitan Assembly, that's a TMA, clashes with the Tema Development Corporation, TDC, over the execution of a project.
In our operation, there is a convention. There's a long-standing relationship that we don't pay permit or get permit to do our work. And the same applies to TMA. When they want to do whatever they want to do, we give them the land for free. We don't charge them anything because of the long-standing relationship we have with them. So we don't know what has happened suddenly.
We'll be hearing from the two state institutions shortly. And later on Eyewitness News, yet another gory accident claimed 11 lives, and this time on a dual carriage highway out of Angkor in Accra. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. We have business news from the Citi Business Desk, and then we have Talkback, where you'd be sending us your messages and the world gets to hear them around some 15 minutes to the end of the program. The number to send your messages to 0539 986 996, 0539 986 996, or go on Twitter, mention my handle at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. We start off with the New Patriotic Party. It called a press conference today and is asking for a public inquiry into the AXA energy bribery, that allegation that was made. Now, the person who is leading the charge for the MPP is the Member of Parliament for Menchia South, the Honorable Nana Eje Bafo-Ewa. He's joined us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Good evening.
Good evening. This issue occurred a few days ago. We heard that someone had been convicted awaiting sentencing. Then some names have been mentioned based on calculations that have been made. But this happened in the United States of America. Why do you think that there should be punishments here? And why do we even need a public inquiry in this matter?
So thank you very much. The conviction took place in the United States of America. That the facts that underpinned the conviction played out in the Republic of Ghana. It involved public office holders, minister of power, advisor to the minister. These are persons that are named in the U.S. court records. It involved ladies at the Ministry of Energy. It involved a relative of the president. These are not actors in the U.S. They are actors in Ghana. In Ghana, they are not private persons. They are public persons and or politically exposed persons. These persons, the benefit to these persons being money, is the reason why the conviction took place in the United States of America. And so the U.S. may have dealt with the corporate, the person who made the payment, right? The U.S. was seized with jurisdiction, primarily because, among other things, the corporate is a citizen of the United States of America. What are we doing on?
Now, why do you need it to be public, this inquiry that you talk about? There were calls previously.
It is very important what's happening.
Honorable, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There were earlier calls for IOCO or the OSP to do the investigation. You're asking now for a public inquiry. Often these public inquiries end up nowhere.
Well, you are saying that the public inquiries and often ends up where you have the Attorney General who also files nolle prosequi or discontinues cases involving members of the NDC or former appointees of the NDC. And in this issue, named or the persons are likely to be persons that are associated with the NDC, given when it happened and who was in government at the time. And so if you also leave it with the Attorney General, it will come to naught. But a public inquiry is not just to find culprits and also punish them. It's also to give people who are also perceived to be involved but are innocent opportunity to clear their name. And more importantly, give us an idea of why some of these issues have been recurring over the years, so that we can forestall a future occurrence. I think that it is important. But the public inquiry is also going to lead, if anything at all, to shaming some of the culprits, because we know that because their government is in power, because the NDC is in power, and the persons that are associated are likely to be former appointees of the NDC. Like you rightly said, it is better if we get a roadmap to deterrence, as against future occurrence. And also the persons getting publicly shamed. I think that may also suffice.
The reason I talked about the challenge with the public, I mean, if it's a commission of inquiry, you and I know how they end up. Often you cannot prosecute. Recall the case of Dr. Rekubrobe Kojumpieni, the Ghana 50 case. You recall the decision of the court on that matter. So in what nature do you want it to be? Again, if it's a bipartisan parliamentary inquiry, then again you remember that issue of the cash for seats and all those matters. And for there was a joint committee that was jointly chaired by the Honorable Katie Hammond and the current Attorney General. You do know how these matters end. So when you say public inquiry, really, I'm trying to get a motivation, because punishments seldom happen in these matters. And I'm not saying do not, but I'm saying seldom.
If you proceed along those lines, then of course people are going to commit various offenses without nothing happening.
Yeah, but that's why we let it go through the OSP or the IOCO and not do a public fanfare of it.
The IOCO is within or under the control of the Attorney General. The IOCO requires the power of the Attorney General or the authorization of the Attorney General to prosecute. Okay, and we have seen that cases that are being handled by IOCO now sometimes are even taken over by the Attorney General, right? And so if we are going to go along these lines, then we are throwing our hands in despair. What is at stake, right? What has happened is a pattern which has been happening over a period of time. And that pattern requires a serious interrogation. That interrogation you may not necessarily achieve merely through prosecution. It is possible to achieve through a public inquiry, so that we are all seized with how these things happen. And then a cure is found for. Otherwise, if you are focused on just prosecution, we are going to miss the point, because it's bigger than that, right? We've seen a pattern of Ghana being embarrassed on the international plane. That cannot be dealt with just by way of prosecution. You have to have people come to a commission, be willing to open up and speak, so that we inform public policy. just coming to the public inquiry and speak can also serve as an embarrassment, right, for persons who are also involved. So it's not always the case that you have to prosecute somebody. In any event, I very respectfully take a separate view. The Ghana at 50 matter, I take a separate view from a separate view. I take a separate view that it cannot be relied upon for prosecution, because the Constitution clearly says that when you appear before a commission of inquiry, right, you have a right not to incriminate yourself. You have a right not to incriminate yourself. That for me, or that in my view, is clear that when you appear before a commission of inquiry, whatever you say can be used against you in criminal prosecution. And so I think that the case is very distinguishable on the basis of the constitutional provision that gives you the right not to incriminate yourself, right, or an interpretation of the provision thereof. And so the fact that you appear before a commission of inquiry, in my view, does not simply, right, give you an immunity against prosecution. And so we should not say that because of that case, we should move on just to prosecution. It's a bigger situation than just going to punish corporates. It's a trend that has happened over a period of time. A trend that involves the case of Gassam, the Skansum Gassam matter that took place in Norway, about allegations of payment being made to Ghanaian officials just so Gassam will have a monopoly in Ghana and no other cement company can operate over a period of time. And indeed, for a long time, the only cement company we had in this country was Gassam. It also involves, if you recall, Maybe and Johnson matter, where Ghanaian officials were said to have been paid bribes, right, to give a British company a pass as far as construction was concerned in this country. We also had a case of Abajaro. We've also had a case of Airbus scandal. And coincidentally, all these cases took place when an NDC government was in power. So it is a trend. When you have such a trend, it is not enough to say that I'm going to look for somebody to prosecute. You have to look at why these things keep happening so that you can stop them from happening in the future. Then, dependent on the circumstance, you can consider prosecution. And so it is not wrong for us to call for a public inquiry. A public inquiry is very important. If you look at Airbus scandal, a relative of the president was mentioned. And now if you look at this matter, a relative of the president has been mentioned. Now, why do we say that we shouldn't just move to prosecution? Look, even in prosecution, look at the case where, the Attorney General, for instance, has entered into a plea deal with Unibank. And till date, we don't know the details of that plea deal. Till date, we don't even know whether or not the terms of the plea deal are being adhered to. So we should not lose out even if you are going to lose out on the prosecution bit, because the current government is not only firmly in control of the other agencies, right, that are responsible for investigations and then prosecution, right? They are currently very firmly involved or in control of the institutions that are responsible for these things. So the confidence is not there as regards these institutions. The public should not be denied the opportunity to see what actually happened in this matter. The public deserves to know what went on so that we'll be informed in terms of public discourse and public policy to forestall future occurrence.
So what do you envisage this inquiry should be like? Should it be a parliamentary probe, a committee set up by the minister, a committee set up by the presidency, or a commission of inquiry? What do you envisage, or do you reckon it should look like?
I envisage a bipartisan parliamentary probe. A bipartisan parliamentary probe where we are not go into where particular rules that may lead to disproportionate representation merely because the opposition is more will be seen. A situation where we'll suspend parliamentary rules as regards the constitution of such committees, but in the interest of the country, a fairly balanced parliamentary committee, bipartisan parliamentary committee, the interest of the public good, right, will be constituted to investigate this matter.
All right, there's another issue that I want us to deal with briefly. You are a lawyer for the former Scholarship Secretariat boss, Mr. Kingsley Agyeman, and I believe your firm is representing him, and you are the lawyer. I have seen that you have issued a statement asking for something to be done and complaining about some issues relating to what our High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland, Saba Zita Benson, has said. Can you, for the purpose of my audience who may not have seen your statement, tell us what your challenge with the High Commissioner is?
Okay, so basically, the High Commissioner has been making repeated allegations against Mr. Kingsley Agyeman. But the matter is currently being investigated by state agencies. In this instance, Bureau of National Investigations. It makes it very difficult for Mr. Kingsley Agyeman to respond to these matters because of the ongoing investigations. The High Commissioner keeps trying him in public, which then may or should ordinarily necessitate these, a response. However, in view of the investigations, he's been cautioned or he's been advised to stay away from responding to these matters. And so the statement is just to assure the Ghanaian public of his firm conviction that, look, there's no iota of truth in the allegations being made, and that over time, the state agencies would clear him. In fact, he has been cooperating with the state agencies. He's been attending all invitations, and he intends to continue with the cooperation, just so his innocence will be confirmed by these agencies. And so, because the matter has been thrown out in the public domain by the High Commissioner, we needed to put the statement out. That's why we put it out on its instructions.
But is it wrong for the High Commissioner to be disgusted by what she saw in the report and make public comment about it? You have been a short while ago asking for public inquiry into an allegation of bribery. If there were underhand dealings and the High Commissioner has seen that in a report, she should be allowed to express disgust.
We should all be angry at corruption. However, when you are part of a government that is investigating a matter, I believe that you have to exercise caution in the manner which you speak to those issues. As I said, this is not the first time the High Commissioner is speaking to this matter. In fact, it may be the 18th time. However, she's aware that investigations are ongoing, and that because of investigations, the gentleman or the honorable member of parliament may not be able to respond to these matters in public in the manner which she does. And so doesn't she think that she's not being fair to the gentleman because, he's currently hampered by the investigations ongoing, right? Or we expect him very respectfully to meet him in public boot for boot and disregard the investigations that are currently ongoing. Is that what we want to do? If that's what we want to do, then perhaps we may have to advise ourselves otherwise. But I as his lawyer, don't think it is appropriate for him to be sent into that arena were there. I think that we should respect the ongoing investigations and then cooperate with the ongoing investigations for the truth to be unraveled. I am expecting the High Commissioner, who is part of the government, to also do the same. That's all we are saying.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Welcome, sir.
That's Nana J. Bafwewa. He's Member of Parliament for Mensah South and is also a lawyer for former Scholarship Secretariat boss, Mr. Jiman. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know that feeling when you're getting ready for work. Your shirt is still crumpled and the iron is just starting to warm up. Or you're late for the wedding and now about to blow dry your hair. Or you have just stocked up meat for the cold store and then suddenly, oh, light off. Life just keeps getting paused. But what if your roof, yes, your roof, could keep things running in your homes and businesses? With EcoBank ASAP, you can switch to solar now by getting a loan to buy solar power systems with no upfront cost and easy repayment. Power your life through EcoBank's vetted solar vendors and lower your power bills over time.
Take back your power with EcoBank ASAP. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Looking for engineering excellence you can trust?
Welcome to Left Signature Limited, driving progress through technology and engineering excellence.
From expert electrical engineering design, installation, power systems, renewable energy, automation and control,
to reliable data center and managed services, power infrastructure, network connectivity, server virtualization, cloud integration and data security,
and cutting-edge software development, custom business applications, web and mobile apps, cloud and DevOps solutions.
Integrity, safety, accountability, teamwork. That's the Left Signature promise.
And now, introducing the Left Power app.
Request for our services anytime, anywhere. Available on the Play Store, App Store, and on the web.
Ready to power your success?
Choose Left Signature Limited. Visit www.leftsignature.com.
Call +233 256 111 811.
Left Signature Limited. Engineering excellence for a connected future.
Northern Ghana is making history. The Ghana Exim Bank and North Shore Apro Ghana Limited proudly invite you to the official opening of Phase 1 of the North Shore Apro Hub, a wholly Ghanaian-owned Apro manufacturing enterprise under the 24-hour economy initiative. Funded by the Ghana Exim Bank and partners, this landmark project will create 3,000 jobs at commissioning and up to 10,000 jobs at full operation. His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, will officially commission the facility, joined by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosue-Jare, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Sylvester Attah-Mensah. Date, Friday 28 August 2026, time, 12 noon. Venue, North Shore Apro Hub, Sabalugu, near Tamale in the Northern region. Join us as we celebrate Ghanaian enterprise, job creation, and a bold step towards industrial transformation.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM, broadcasting from Accra and around Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, including Beach 105.5 FM and Sky 93.5 FM, based in Takoradi in the Western region. Also on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani in the Bono region. In the Ahafo region on Hammers Radio 106.5 in Goso. In the Ashanti region in Kumasi on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region in Tajevu on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu. In the Northern region in Bimbila on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM. In the Upper East region on Navrongo-based Pure 100.5 FM and in Bolga on Bolga FM 102.7 FM. Also in Gumzang on Gumzang FM 90.1 in Tongo, and in the Upper West region on Tungsung 97.3 FM in Wa. We're also live on YouTube and live on Facebook. The show is interactive. Send us your messages, and the world will hear your views during the Talkback segment. Let's talk about some terrible news that is coming through. A very gory accident that was recorded early this dawn at Ofanko in Accra. It had to do with a vehicular accident on that dual carriage highway. Now, Divisional Officer of the Fire Service, Emmanuel Boni, is the head of public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service, and he's joined us on the line. Mr. Boni, welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, and I'm grateful for having me.
I think I've got a title mixed up. Did I not? DO1 is divisional.
It's DO1.
Which is Divisional Officer or
Division Officer Grade 1.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, this accident happened at dawn today. What can you tell us about what happened?
Yes, we had the distress call at 4 a.m. that there was an accident at the Ofanko barrier. So we quickly mobilized and came to the scene, and we saw that it was multiple vehicle accidents. About 6 vehicles and 1 tricycle that was involved in the accident. So quickly we have then concentrate on how to rescue the human beings, the life in the incident. So we did the rescue, and we got about 13 people who were injured, and we gave them to National Ambulance Service to be sent to the hospital for treatment. So later, we also retrieved some unconscious bodies and gave them to the police service to be sent to the hospital. But later, we had information from the police that the 11 bodies that were given to them to the hospital, all of them are died. So we now have to make sure the police, the Ghana National Fire Service, clear the way for commuters to have free flow of traffic. So we will not incur another incident at the place. So by 10 p.m. we're able to clear the place for the traffic to flow.
What and how many vehicles were involved?
6 vehicles, 2 tipper trucks, 2 sprinter buses, 2 saloon cars, and 1 tricycle.
Do you understand how the accident occurred? Which of the vehicle drivers was at fault?
Yeah, we got some eyewitness information. However, most of the eyewitness information were contradicting each other. So we now have to compare with the police and get the actual cause of the accident. So after that, we can inform the public as to what actually caused the accident.
Which means, as we speak, it will not be accurate to attribute the accident to anything whatsoever. It means that as we speak, we cannot exactly tell what may have triggered the accident.
Cause of the accident.
Yes, we cannot, right?
So we are working seriously with the police to get the facts.
Okay. Ofanko barrier area is a dual carriage highway of 4 lanes in, 4 lanes out. Which side of the major highway was this accident recorded?
It was the side from one point of view to Accra.
Was it the outer lane or the inner lanes?
It was the inner lane.
So those are the very busy lanes.
Pardon me?
Those are the busy lanes in the middle.
Yeah, it was a busy lane in the middle.
And both vehicles that you met in the accident appeared to be coming from Nsawan towards Accra, or did it look like a head-on collision?
It wasn't a head-on collision. all of them were coming from the Nsawam point of view to Accra.
That typically would be very difficult for an accident to occur, isn't it? Because they are behind each other.
That's why we needed the police to give us the accurate information about what caused the accident.
Is there a likelihood that any of the tipper trucks you mentioned may have been stationary on the road and visibility may be poor?
I think we will get those information from the police.
Very well. But you have cleared the place, haven't you? We were told that it took a long time before you could clear the place for traffic to flow.
It's true.
What was that?
Because there were multiple accidents and the police need to fix some information on the ground before we clear the road. So they did that before we were able to clear the road. And we need to have multiple recovery vehicles to come into the vehicles. So I think they brought about 3 recovery vehicles to come and clear the road.
Now, you've mentioned that 11 persons died from this accident. Do we know if there are others who are in critical conditions, or it appears everybody who escaped is pretty fine?
I think for that, medical practitioners will tell us those who are in critical conditions. And sometimes we send them to Attah-Mensah hospital, and sometimes those who are in critical conditions, the hospital may decide to even refer them to a higher hospital. So police will give us those information.
Very well. Mr. Bonnie, thank you so much for speaking to us.
I'm grateful.
That's Divisional Officer 1 Emmanuel Bonnie. He's Head of Public Relations with the Ghana National Fire Service. Let's go to the National Road Safety Authority now and speak to Felix Owusu, his Senior Planning Manager. Mr. Owusu, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, my brother Omar.
A few weeks ago, there was an accident reported and recorded on the Suhum-Kumasi Road. And immediately everybody said, let's dualize the Accra-Kumasi Highway, because dualization is the best way to prevent head-on collision, which accounts for majority of the accidents recorded on roads. Except that this morning's accident happened on a dual carriage highway with 6 lanes, and yet we are told all the vehicles were headed in one direction, and then there was this accident that claimed 11 lives. As an authority, I'm sure you would have sent personnel to the place, you would have picked up intel and information. How could an accident happen where all the vehicles are headed in one direction and we are not sure if any of them was stationary?
All right, so anyway, good evening to you once again and your cherished viewers and listeners. First of all, let me commend my colleagues from the MTTD, Ghana National Fire Service, the ambulance service, and other agencies or institutions that were there to assist when the incident occurred. So, as you rightly said, even though we've been advocating for the dualization of major highways, but it wouldn't, or let me say that the crashes are not only as a result of head-on collisions. So you can have a dualized route, but if road users do not conform or do not obey the other regulations, it can as well lead to a crash. So in fact, what happened there typically, in fact, I was there this morning with the regional director when the incident occurred. And so when you assess the whole thing, even though as DO1 Bonnie said, we are waiting for the official report from the police to really ascertain what happened. But at least from the little we have gathered, when you get to the scene, you would realize that, there's a curve. And so once you descend that curve, and because the road is also new and flat with no potholes, motorists really speed. And so even without any measuring, I don't have anything to measure, but I can see, or you can tell, that motorists are speeding way beyond the posted speed limit, which is supposed to be 50 kilometers per hour on that particular stretch. But one other thing we are picking, even though the reports are, there are differences in some of the reports we are getting, but then the one basic thing that runs through all of them is that there was a stationary tricycle, or what most people call aboboya. There was a tricycle which had broken down. And so I think that was what led to the whole incident. So when that one had broken down, per what we were told, they tried to stop, or they managed to stop the first tipper truck carrying sand, which stopped behind the tricycle, per the account we got. Now they were able to also stop 2 other sprinter buses carrying vehicles. These were the 2 commercial vehicles carrying passengers. And so it was I'll say now the 4th vehicle, which is also another tipper truck carrying, also sand on top of speed. So I'm sure he must have, because of the speed, and then also because this is a curve, the distance from where the incident occurred to the curve is not that much. So I'm sure he couldn't. There was nothing he could do, and so he just smashed into the 2 vehicles in between the 2 tipper trucks, and so that was what led to especially one of the vehicles mangled in that manner, killing a lot of the people there. And so, in fact, even the death toll, as for the last time I spoke to the commander, which is the Mount 7 MTCD commander, has even increased from the 11 to 12. I'm making up 5 males and 7 females. And then, according to the commander again, there are 22 other persons who are at the various hospitals receiving treatment. That is 19 at the Asofa Hospital, and then also 3 at the Achimota Hospital. So far, that is what we have from the police. But as DO1 Bonnie said, we are waiting for the full official report from the police to be able to tell what exactly happened. And this also brings us to one major issue. Normally, when you ask drivers or motorists that when there's an accident, when there's a crash, what is the first thing we need to do? And you see people saying you have to call the police, you have to call the ambulance. But then the first thing you do when there's an accident is to secure the scene. Secure the scene. So when we say secure the scene, it means that once there has been a crash, you are supposed to mount your advanced warning device. In this case, whether a triangle or reflective cones. And I'm sure if the tricycle which had broken down had these things in place, those coming from afar would see that, oh, there is something or there is a danger ahead, and so they would also slow down. So that was what they failed, whoever was around that area failed to do. And so because they failed to secure the scene, then it led to the other crashes also occurring. So once the tipper truck ran into them, I'm sure the other vehicles also ran into the other vehicles. But like I said, because we do not have the full report, I do not want to preempt and say what I do not know. So let's wait for the official reports that will tell us what exactly happened and how each of the subsequent accidents or crashes occurred.
When we keep saying we wait for the police for a full report, is the police going to use road markings to calculate and tell us what may have happened, or you have CCTV cameras installed on that road that we can possibly rely on?
Yeah, so in fact, normally when the crashes occur, unfortunately, some of the drivers are still alive, and so even their interviews, they are able to also pick their interview to know, and then even passengers in the various vehicles to ascertain, because I doubt the area where it happened, there are cameras there, and so they'll be able to use those accounts from the victims to be able to tell what exactly or how the whole thing happened. Because as I said from the beginning, all what we are hearing are accounts given by bystanders, and so we don't want to rely solely on that. That's why I keep referring to the police reports, and that would get the information from those who were actually involved in the crash.
Was there a police vehicle involved based on what you saw today?
No, I didn't see any police vehicle.
But you saw all the 6 cars, and none of them had a police.
In fact, when I got to the scene, we got there. I mean, they had moved most of the vehicles really. So I think the tricycle and one of the mangled. But from the accounts, even given by those who were around, we were given two tipper trucks, 2 Sprinter buses, and 2 saloon vehicles. That's 1 Camry, and then there's a Suzuki Expresso, and I think the tricycle making 7.
Okay.
So there was no police vehicle.
You were there. I don't know how early you got there, but what is the lighting situation there like? I'm referring to street lights on the road.
Yeah. So at the time you got there, I mean, it was already daytime, so we didn't know whether the traffic light, the street light there were functioning or not. But I think I've used that stretch before, and that's at the time I used the stretch. It wasn't functioning. And in fact, we have also received today when we're there. That was what people kept saying, that the place is dark, which again could account for the reason why I'm sure around the time it happened, because the visibility wasn't that good. They couldn't see the tricycle or the vehicles ahead early and then also running. So poor visibility could account for the impacts, as in fact, from the first crash to the subsequent ones.
You've talked about a tricycle, which we call the Aboboya. I am aware that at least the AMA bylaws, there's a rule against these tricycles plying highways. Would that road be considered a highway? And based on everything the Road Safety Authority stands for and the motor traffic rules, are tricycles supposed to be using that? Okay, because the lane is 6, right? There are 2 outer lanes and then 2 inner lanes for both ongoing and incoming traffic. Is an Aboboya, for all intents and purposes, supposed to use that side?
Omar, to be honest with you, to answer this particular question, because I have not seen the AMA bylaws. And even if you're talking about AMA bylaws, which area does it cover? Because as I know, if you say AMA has its own jurisdiction. And
okay,
so
let's leave AMA out. Let's use road safety standards and authority. Do you have some rules around where tricycles should use and what? Okay, which vehicles are prevented from using busy highways like the one we're talking about? And are tricycles supposed to use that?
In fact, this is my own. From what I know, tricycles. I haven't read in the law or any of the regulations that even bans Aboboya these tricycles from using. But then you see, because of the categories or the speed limits on various class of roads, sometimes you would want to know whether even the vehicle, sometimes even carrying a particular load, is supposed to use that street. So for this particular, in fact, it will be very difficult for me to answer, in the sense that, and I know these things have come up so many times, especially those of them carrying the waste, because of the speed they ply with. They are not able to. So, for instance, on the motorway, they are not supposed to be using certain class of. But like I said, I have not seen any regulation. So it is something, as a country, I think we also need to consider, if, especially with the introduction of this or legalization of motorcycles, tricycles, and quadricycles for this commercial purpose. We need to, I think it's a conversation we need to have so that we know where and which of the roads they are not supposed to ply. But as it stands, personally, I have not seen any restrictions with regards to the regulations we have.
Okay, now from the safety authorities' perspective, the accident that occurred today, you have hazarded a guess, but how do we prevent? Because you are supposed to be dealing with road prevention, right? More than the aftermath. How could we have prevented what happened today, and how can we prevent accidents in the future?
Yes, so as you said, the National Road Safety Authority, I think our primary objective is to make sure accidents or crashes are reduced in the country. And so one of the things for us we do is mainly through the road safety education that we give to all category of road users. So whether you're a driver, you're a motor rider, you're even a passenger, pedestrian, or what have you. And so we give all this education to the road users. Again, we're also supposed to collaborate with the other agencies to make sure they put in measures, especially when it comes to engineering measures, to also sometimes help reduce, because if the routes are bad, definitely those can also lead to a crash. And so whilst we are doing the education, then we are also advocating for good roads and engineered measures to sometimes routes that even promote speeding. We are supposed to also put in measures to make sure we calm or reduce speeds of vehicles, because what we realize is that once the roads are very good and flat, people tend to speed. Whether you have the speed limit signs there or not, people tend to speed. And so there should be engineering means to force the motorists to slow down. And then also, when it comes to illumination, I mean, we've seen that most of our streets in Accra, not only in Accra, in Ghana, are very dark. And so that is also leading to a lot of knockdowns and even accidents.
Very well.
Taking into consideration the lights or the lamps that people have also fitted on their vehicles. There are some of us using unprescribed lamps, which also blinds others at night. And some also drive even at night, sometimes without light or very poor lights. And so all these things account for the numerous crashes we see on our road. So at the National Road Safety Authority, I think, even though we do this already, but I think it's about time we really collaborate or enhance our collaboration with all the other stakeholders to make sure we enhance and improve road safety management in the country.
Thank you so much.
And also, you, the media, we also want to, thank you for always adding your voice, because everything we do, if you, the media, do not even talk about it, people don't get to. And so, we really appreciate the time that you allocate to discuss road safety issues. And we hope and pray that we, the road users, not only road users, even the institutions, will also be up and doing so that we help protect the public.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
And thank you too for having me.
That's Felix Owusu, his Senior Planning Manager, National Road Safety Authority. A story I've just pulled up from Graphic Online. No Aboboya on highways from November 1. This is a story published on October 25, 2021. It says from November 1 this year, that's 2021, tricycles, popularly known as Aboboya, will not be allowed to operate on highways and major roads in the Greater Accra region, including the Accra-Tema motorway. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Henry Quarty, who announced the directive at the launch of the Operation Clean Your Frontage in Accra last Friday, said, however, the ban on tricycles plying the Accra-Tema motorway took immediate effect. He said the tricycles would be restricted to their registered metropolitan, municipal, and district areas. A 1-week grace period would be given after the creation of public awareness by the assemblies, the regional minister added. Mr. Quarty noted that the measure was part of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council's moves to ensure sanity on the roads. The story continues, in line with that, the GARCC was liaising with the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority DVLA to set up zonal registration centers in the assemblies to register all tricycles operating in the region. The ban is in line with the road traffic regulations banning the use of tricycles, popularly known as aboboya, on highways and principal streets. Regulation 128(1-4) of the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 states inter alia that, quote, the licensing authority shall not register a motorcycle to carry a fare-paying passenger, end quote. Mr. Corti said tricycles and motorcycles were causing a lot of nuisance on the highways and other major roads in the region. Already, there had been a series of meetings with the heads of the tricycle operators to sensitize them to the new policy. Also, he instructed that no motorcycle should carry more than 2 persons, while riders and pillion riders must wear helmets. This was said in 2021 to take effect on November. But this is Ghana, and it has ended nowhere. The story has various legs. In Cape Coast, the story says the Cape Coast metropolitan area has banned persons below 25 years from riding tricycles, particularly pragya or aboboya, from Monday, November 15 this year. A statement signed by management of the assembly said the directive, which was provided by law, and other related directives were taken at a meeting at the Cape Coast Metropolitan Security Council on September 15 this year, and so on and so forth. And as we speak, this morning, a pragya or aboboya was on a major highway and caused the death of now 12 innocent commuters. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Eno Safo, my colleague in the City Newsroom, is here to bring us news summaries. Eno, how are you?
Very well, Sanda. How are you?
You use that road?
Yes, I do. But unfortunately for us, I should say, the accident happened on the top tier.
The inner lanes.
Yes, so the top tier, and we use the outer lane. So lucky for us, we didn't see it.
But what's the lighting situation on that road like? Well, we know that
Very
the
bad.
Regional Minister said he was lighting up.
Very bad. All the way from Circle until you reach the Pokwase, the new Pokwase interchange. That's the only place you'll see proper lighting system. But from Circle through Taifa through to Ofanko, there's no light.
No light in there.
No light.
And this happened at dawn.
Yes, around 4 a.m.
And these tricycles that we are talking about, I mean, you and I see them all the time.
All the time.
And they don't have, side mirrors.
No,
so
they don't.
Can't even see what's happening. So
they don't even have traffic indicators to indicate whether they're turning left or right.
So if you're overtaking them, you do it at your
own risk.
That's so sad. Please give us other stories from the newsroom.
All right. The New Patriotic Party has set up a vetting committee chaired by former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapa ahead of the party's national elections. The party is set to open nominations from August 17 to August 20, while the vetting of aspirants will take place from August 31 to September 3. According to the party, an appeal process will be allowed until September 14, after which the notice of poll will be announced. Addressing the press, Chairman of the party's election committee, Frederick Opariansa, noted that these processes will pave the way for the elections scheduled for October 3.
Where a petitioner remains dissatisfied with the appeals committee's decision, that person may lodge a further appeal with the National Executive Committee, whose decision will be final and binding. This architecture is deliberate. We want decisions to be made according to rules, and where somebody feels aggrieved, for that person to have an established avenue for redress. Our appeal to everybody is therefore to use the institutions and procedures established by the party.
The party also announced filing fees for the various positions in the national executive elections.
The approved cost of nomination forms is as follows. For the national chairmanship position, 50,000 Ghana cedis. For vice chairpersons, 30,000 Ghana cedis. For the general secretary position, 25,000 Ghana cedis. All other positions, 10,000 Ghana cedis, with a special consideration for the special wings. Nasara, women and youth paying 8,000 Ghana cedis. Payment for nomination forms will be accepted in cash or by cash check at the National Headquarters at Asylum Dam. Upon payment of the prescribed fee, the aspirant will be issued with an official receipt upon presentation of which the appropriate nomination form will be issued. Nomination forms may also be downloaded from the party's website. However, an aspirant who downloads the form must still pay the prescribed nomination fee in cash or by check and obtain an official receipt before the completed form can be accepted for filing.
Frederick Opariansa is the chairman of the New Patriotic Party's election committee. The leadership of the Konkomba Yam Market is appealing to the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to reconsider plans to construct a 24-hour economy market at the site of the existing Yam Market. The group says it supports the government's 24-hour economy initiative, but wants the proposed project relocated to another site to allow the existing market to continue operating. Addressing the press, the Secretary of the Council of Leadership of the Konkomba Yam Market, Tanyam Anthony, called on the government to instead improve the existing market by providing better roads, streetlights, and enhanced security.
This area is a food basket of Accra, which feeds the national capital alongside its neighboring markets like the Agogloshi. The Konkomba Yam Market in particular is a venue where yams are acquired and exported to several locations, both locally and externally. There is no doubt that the benefits derived through the gains in foreign exchange assist in national development, and that employment is also made available to several thousands of persons who would have hitherto remained unemployed. Distinguished members of the press, we admit that the decision or the idea for the proposed 24-hour economy is a laudable one. But should existing systems that are currently serving the same purpose as those that intended by the 24-hour economy, should they be sacrificed by destroying the markets, especially the Konkomba Yam Market, just to make way for the 24-hour economy? In our candid opinion, we do not think this is feasible and suggest that the authorities reconsider their decision.
That was the Secretary of the Council of Leadership of the Konkomba Yam Market, Tanyam Anthony. The Ghana Police Service has arrested Sibame Zakaria, who was captured in a viral video allegedly assaulting a suspect at the police headquarters. The suspect is alleged to have assaulted a pastor who had been apprehended for allegedly making derogatory remarks about Prophet Muhammad. The Police Professional Standards Bureau has commenced investigations into the incident. The Bureau is expected to establish the facts surrounding the alleged assault and determine whether any individuals breached police procedures or professional standards.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Your child can excel academically and in the sports they love and are good at. At Prodigy International Academy, we believe every child deserves to excel in the classroom, on the field, and in life. With an internationally recognized curriculum, an elite sports program, modern, well-serviced boarding facilities, and a strong foundation in Christian values, Prodigy nurtures confident, skilled, and well-rounded learners who are prepared for a global future. Here, sports and academics go hand in hand to empower students to discover their strengths, develop strong character, leadership, and relentlessly pursue excellence. Give your child's full potential a chance. Visit prodigy.edu.gh or call 025-609-7974 to begin your Prodigy's journey. Prodigy International Academy. Persevere, excel, inspire.
Hello? Charlie, I'm at the library. Why do you keep calling me?
Question. What's the capital of Burkina Faso?
Ouagadougou. Bye.
Wait. Which planet is the hottest in the solar system?
Venus. Actually, why all these questions?
See, I'm playing the MTN Swipe and Win promo. I might cash out some cool 1,000 Ghana cedis today.
1,000 cedis? Shh. Charlie, what's the next question?
During the MTN Swipe and Win promo today, answer trivia, earn points, and stand a chance to win 1,000 Ghana cedis every day. Weekly cash of 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 Ghana cedis. A brand new Hyundai Texan in the first 3 months, and the ultimate grand prize of 500,000 Ghana cedis. Recharge your account to qualify for the daily draws. To join, visit swipeandwinpromo.mtn.com.gh. Download the My MTN app or dial *5030#. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. TNCs apply.
MTN. You know what our father left us when he died?
Debts?
He left us land, Eno. But Nanayo said the land is his. The court said, come back in 2031.
Hey, that's not an inheritance. That's a curse, brother.
Real Ejapade doesn't come with disputes. At Deftraco Woodlands, a 592-acre master planned gated city in Dawenya, your inheritance is waiting. Don't leave your children a court case. Leave them Deftraco Woodlands, the Ejapade they'll be proud of. Visit woodlands.devtracogroup.com. Call or WhatsApp us today on 0208 732 302.
Kofi, I think we need to call them.
Deftraco Woodlands, where your roots run deep.
Everybody they sell, but your shop they empty.
Where's my report?
Bro, month no end here too. But see, your pocket stop they take. Another emergency for the house.
Come get ideas. Ideas go kill them.
Another idea, another mark time. No capital to start. For some people, this silence no be peaceful. It be money matter.
With bills, there's no need for silence. From my emergency loans to salary loans to working capital loans and startup loans, Bills has you covered.
Apply with your Ghana card today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390. Bills, financing your needs. T's and C's apply.
Business owners, entrepreneurs, and investors, your next big business opportunity could be waiting for you at the Canton Fair 2026 in China, and Litina Travel and Tours is taking you there. From October 23rd to November 5th, join the Litina China and Dubai Business and Leisure Delegation. Meet manufacturers face-to-face and source quality products. Whether you're into electronics, furniture, construction materials, vehicles and spare parts, or more, this trip is for you. And after business, Dubai awaits with 2 days of premium leisure, exciting tours, and a relaxing spa treatment to recharge. Your visas, flights, hotel accommodation, B2B meetings, guided tours, travel insurance, and ground transportation all arranged for you from just $3,799 US. Don't miss this opportunity. Call Tina on 0244-260-789 or visit Litina Travel and Tours at Alisa Hotel, Northridge, Accra. Litina Travel and Tours, your business, your growth, your journey.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I'm looking at the Ghana News Agency, and there's a story up there published on August 13. It says TMA TDC clash over Community 1 Site 3 infilling project. Story by Lordina Nyoko Nuno says the Tema Metropolitan Assembly has directed the Tema Development Company Limited to halt an ongoing infilling project at Community 1 Site 3, citing alleged breaches of planning and development regulations. Madam Ibi Bright, the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive, said the Assembly's intervention followed a petition from residents of Communities 1 Site 3 and Site 8 regarding ongoing physical development in the area. This morning, the Tema Development Company called a press conference to tell its side of the story. We'll be hearing that. But before then, let's speak to the Mayor of Tema, Ibi Bright. Madam, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. If you can hear me, madam, can you tell us when this infilling came to your attention as an assembly and what steps you took?
Good evening to you, Mr. Sander, and your cherished listeners and viewers. I didn't hear you before now, so I believe that we're discussing the
Yes, so can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Great. I was saying that if you could share with me the point at which your assembly noticed that there was an infilling happening in one of the communities of Tema, and what steps you took as an assembly to deal with it.
Oh, okay. So, first of all, it's not an issue of infilling. There's actually quite a few issues, but first came to my attention from a petition which we received at the end of this past month. I have to confirm the date. I think it was I got to my table on the 24th. It's a petition from the Site 3 and 8 Community Association. And they were alleging that some of their structures had been demolished, and then there was construction ongoing on the playground and reservations of their community. And they were asking for our intervention to facilitate dialogue with TDC to achieve some consensus, because they had a court order which was being ignored, and in spite of the court order for TDC's work, the work continued. So we were intending to call up a meeting on the 4th or the 5th of August, which is this month. However, on Saturday, 2nd August, we received distress calls from the community through the assembly member that work was advancing at a fast pace. So the works department visited the site, and they were physically blocked by TDC personnel and security agencies, so the army and then police. So they were physically blocked, and they were told that TDC is the landlord of Tema. So they had no authority to access the sites. So on Friday, on the 7th of August, TMA served the first enforcement notice on TDC to stop work and show cause. On Monday, the 10th of August, TMA served a second enforcement notice for them to stop work. Now, mind you, all of these notices were ignored, and the same intimidation faced by my officers. And on the 11th, which was yesterday, TDC responded to our letter, rejecting our position and our authority and our calls for dialogue. They do not stop work. They continue with construction. And then they deploy even more additional military and police personnel from outside the metropolis. And then they pick up the pace of their construction. So on the 12th, I visited the site personally to confirm that there's unpermitted construction. The felling of trees, at our last count, is about 50 trees have been felled. And so I also instructed them to cease work. At this point, I was also, I was also challenged by these security forces. I have to point out, though, that this visit by myself was conducted in the company of the Metropolitan Security Council and assembly members. And this was the reception that we received. I immediately instructed the works department to stop work, to remove the hoarding around some of the sites. And this is about 6 sites within the enclave. So this is what happened yesterday. And we got a call from the regional police commander pleading that we halt the removal of the hoarding, so that then the dialogue, which had been initially refused, can hold. So that's what we were expecting to happen today. Instead, we have now a reinforcement of the presence of the army and the police on site, and a flagrant disregard for our request to dialogue and for the cessation of all activity in upholding not only the court order, but also the fact that this development is ongoing without a permit. So this is the situation as at today. They continue to construct with without any let up, at a faster pace, and with reinforced security protection from outside the metropolis.
Okay. Can you, for purposes of education and clarification, tell me the difference in roles between the TMA and the TDC? You've mentioned that the TDC official said they were the landlords. Is there a nexus between the two of you? And also, can you tell me where the point of departure is? What are the various powers? I want to see the issue of separation of powers.
Well, great. The Local Governance Act 1993, Act 462, was the first to vest planning authority exclusively in district assemblies. In 2016, Acts 936 and 925 reinforced and expanded that exclusive planning authority of MMDAs. So the assembly is the sole planning authority. So let me take you to Act 936, 2016, 936, Section 91.1. A person shall not carry out a fiscal development in a district except with a prior written approval in the form of a written permit issued by the district planning authority. I can take you through a lot of what gives the assembly this mandate. However, it's important to also appreciate the historical situation that TEMA specifically is plagued with. In 1952, in the absence of the local governance system, the TEMA Development Corporation was established by an act of parliament to both plan and manage the development of TEMA. With the advent of the Local Governance Act, the planning authority was taken from TEMA Development Corporation. Now, in 2016, both acts reinforced that exclusive planning authority for the MMDC, followed by 2017, when TEMA Development Corporation ceased to exist. And in its stead, we have TDC, Company Limited, which is now a limited liability company. It's a commercial real estate company. It doesn't have any regulatory or planning authority. So it's a commercial state-owned enterprise. It's operating as a limited liability company, just as any other state-owned enterprise like TOR, VALCO, VRA, ECG, and they're all under the supervision of SIGA. So it is not a planning authority under any current law, or does it exercise any regulatory functions.
So you regulate their development, their project. If they were to put up apartment blocks, you as the assembly, you have to regulate. And so if you ask them to cease, they have to cease.
Absolutely. So I'll refer everybody to TDC's own website, where they give you their history. But then now they tell you that until January 2017, that's how they operated. But since January 2017, through their new instrument, all those activities they are supposed to carry out. However, without prejudice to the general, and I'm reading from them, I'm quoting verbatim now, without prejudice to the general effect of paragraph A of this part, the corporation may, for the purpose of the attainment of the objects described in that paragraph, and with the prior approval of the TEMA District Assembly, construct roads, public buildings and markets, prepare and execute housing schemes, develop industrial and commercial sites, provide public utilities such as sewage and street lights, carry on such other activities as are incidental or conducive to the attainment of its objects. So the objects stand. It's the same thing, your development. However, with the prior approval of the TEMA District Assembly, and on their own website.
Okay, so if you are the supervisors of that local assembly and you being the president's representative, how come then that your people were met by policemen and military men who are supposed to, at least the police should be commanded by you being the municipal security chairperson, music head?
So this is the architecture of illegality and the protection of criminal activity. It is not grounded. My Metropolitan Security Council cannot account for these strangers within the metro. It is my information that the police, for example, were deployed from the SWAT command at the national level. It is also my understanding that the military were deployed from, let me confirm, because we're trying to build an understanding of the situation.
So are you, as a Metropolitan Security head, these people were not taking orders or command from you. That's why they disobeyed your men who had gone there to ask for a stop work.
Absolutely. In fact, the action that they're taking is tantamount to carrying out land guard duties.
So the TDC was then engaging in land guardism. That's essentially what you're trying to say.
Absolutely. And unfortunately using the agencies of the state. But you see, what is most important for us to understand that a state-owned enterprise should be more mindful of operating within the law than any other enterprise.
Did you at any point call your co-CEO, I'm not sure, I think it should be MD, the MD of the TDC, Courage McCaffrey Nunekbeku, what is your relationship with him like? And did you call him to say, listen, your people are gone rogue?
Yes, I did call him, but he's not picking up my calls. Neither is he responding to messages. But I just want to point out to you that this issue with TDC acting outside the law has been ongoing for a long time. For the past 2 years, I came to meet this issue active on my desk. I've engaged it for 1.5 years. They've been cautioned by LUSPA, by our respective ministries to stay within their mandates. They have refused to do so, but which is why I want to point out to you that then they're employing means that are outside the prescribed ways of engaging, i.e. none of their supposed protection is coming from within the metropolis. It's all from outside, and usually it is difficult to trace.
Okay.
So none of this is legal, and but this is ongoing. It's very intentional.
Okay.
Because they're not unaware of the illegality of their actions, but they have gotten away with it for a long time. I have it on record where the MD says, well, I am your landlord, so I'm permitted to do whatever I want to do. He also claims that there has been a long-standing tradition of them being allowed to do whatever they want to do without any permits. But I dare say that then that will be an admission of criminality, and it's also palpably false.
Okay.
Because the current board chairman, who happens to be the former mayor of Tema and is currently serving as the MP for the area in which we have these disturbances, was very instrumental in getting us to the amendments that we got in 2016, which further solidified the mandate for us as the planning authority.
Okay.
So this has been a long-standing challenge with managing TDC's activities on the ground. However, the law has progressed to a point where there's no ambiguity anymore, and it is just for us to enforce the right thing.
Very well. If you could just indulge me, the MD did not pick your calls or reply your messages, but he's agreed to speak to us, and he has actually been listening to you throughout. So if you just indulge me, I would want to ask his side of the story as well and return to you.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
So please stay on the line for me. That's Madam Ebi Bright. She's mayor of Tema. Courage McCaffrey Nunekbeku is managing director of the TDC Ghana Limited. Mr. Nunekbeku, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. You've heard the Tema mayor give an outline of what happened. a project that your people were undertaking without authorization from the assembly. They tried to stop it, and you had police and soldiers protecting you who prevented them from doing what they did, what they ought to by law do, and that you have engaged in thuggery or landguardism, and you have not been responsive to calls for this matter to be dealt with. How do you respond?
Thank you very much, Omaro. Good evening to your listeners. And can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But if you could speak up a bit, I would be grateful.
I'm saying thank you very much for having me.
Yes,
and
please,
good
you're
evening to listeners.
Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Maybe Bread.
She can hear you, but she will not be able to respond. Just proceed.
Okay, that's fine. First of all, I don't think it is true that we are involved in landguardism. It's not correct. I wouldn't like to go into details because these are state agencies and this is not acceptable. This is not the right way to handle issues when you have a family issue. I believe that we can resolve it. And
we are struggling to hear you. Can you please speak up?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. You're saying that it's a family issue.
It's a family issue, and this has two state agencies. I don't think this is the platform to resolve this issue. We have superiors, and we have petitioned the superiors, and I'm very sure the superiors will call all of us, and this issue will be resolved. But for respect, you've called me. We spoke in the morning, and I promised to pick your call this evening. I wouldn't like to talk about this issue. So on that note, respectfully, if you indulge me, I will only say that we are not doing anything illegally. We have a very good relationship with the TMA, a very long-standing one for that matter, to the extent that when we grant them land, they do not pay for it, and we also have the opportunity to conduct our, construction activities with that permit. In fact, we have a lot of construction activity that scattered all over the constituency. Our work cut across six assemblies. That is Tema West, Ashama, Katamansu, TMA, part of Adenta, and even Okro. All these assemblies, we have a very good relationship with them, and we have projects going on. I mean, massive projects in Katamansu. We don't pay permit. We don't get permit. We go to Ashama, same. Tema West, same. All these places, because of the long-standing relationship we have. Same has been with TDC over the years. TMA over the years. So I'm saying that I will not bore you with the law and all that that established TDC since 1952. But an issue has happened. We will resolve it. We will resolve it tomorrow.
But you see,
that's what I can
it's
say
curious
now.
You say that this is a family matter which can be dealt with, but you called a press conference today. I mean, clearly that will not be a sign of someone who wants to deal with this matter privately as a family. And secondly, if you're not picking your mayor's call or responding to your mayor's messages, that doesn't give off as someone who intends to
the mayor called me when the press conference was going on, so I couldn't have picked up. And I saw a message. I saw her call once, and I tried to return the call, but there was no response. It wasn't going at all. So I mean, it's not a case that she has called me repeatedly, and I couldn't pick up.
Okay.
What is happening at the site? It's not a playground. We've also not pulled down 50 trees. Your reporters are there. They can go to the site and see what has happened there.
But they are the people by law who are supposed to regulate the construction on the land called Tema, especially Tema metropolitan area. And they are saying that what you were doing was tantamount to destruction of the environment without the permit of the assembly. You have said that in the past you didn't have to get permit from Katamansu or Ashaiman and so on. But she's suggesting that that's an unlawful act. Can you tell us under law or some convention of a sort which is approved where you as TDC can put up anything without permit from an assembly.
That's what I'm saying. That I don't want to bore you with the necessary thing. We will resolve this matter, but it's not a unlawful act that we are undergoing. It has been a long-standing relationship with the assembly, and we have constructed a lot of projects. Like I mentioned to you, look, if you go to Committee 1, TMA has properties there. We don't even go there to go and demand for land, ground rent or pay anything. They have a library around very close to our facility. We give that land out for free, and several other issues because of the arrangement we have that you will do this and we will do this.
So these projects you've just mentioned, you put them up without a permit from the assembly.
Exactly.
Which means that no integrity test was done, no approval was given by the land use.
When I say that, TDC is made up of engineers. TDC is made up of professionals, technical people. So when it comes to some of these things, you can trust. You know these structures. Omar, you know the structures we have in the TDC towers. The Committee 26, what we have over there, the stores at Committee 18.
And all the apartments you have that you have been letting out, none of them have had prior approval or permit given by the assembly.
Permit given by the assembly because we have a special arrangement. There is a special arrangement. Either it's a Shama assembly, it's the Mawes assembly.
This special arrangement, is it written or is it a verbal agreement, gentleman's agreement?
Well, this precede all of us. This has been there since the days of Nia Ibonte, through to Master Bansa, to, Avle. That's why we have come to it. So nobody can tell you that, this is the permit I issued for the construction of this project. But I'm saying that, Omaro, let's leave this matter. We will resolve it. I'm not here to, talk about what has happened, what has not happened. That's a problem. We will resolve it. We've actually...
One more thing, while you work on the resolution, you brought in soldiers and police from outside the jurisdiction of TEMA to protect your property or the project that you are embarking on. And the mayor of TEMA, who is the president's representative there, has no power over them because they are coming from above and they are not under her command. That would amount to usurpation of powers.
It is not amounting to usurpation of his power. But well, I'm saying that we resolve the issue. We have a facility around Committee 24 where we have a standby security force always there, taking care of that facility, made up of national security, the Ghana Police Service, and the armed forces. So anytime we have a security challenge, we call them to assist. We always call them to assist. They are providing, security services for our facility around Committee 24. So anytime we have a security challenge, we ask them to come and assist. It doesn't mean that, we are trying to undermine the authority of the mayor. No, not at all.
All right. So you keep assuring me that this matter will be resolved, but I must say that based on the mayor has said I would want you to answer, but you keep saying that this will be resolved. I don't know.
I just don't want us to have a banter.
Having a banter. That's why she's not. That's why I wanted you to tell the story.
Washing our dirty linen before the public. There are several issues I can put out there. But for the sake of the party, we promise Ghanaians jobs, we promise Ghanaians infrastructure, we promise Ghanaians will reset this country. So that's what should be the focus, and that's what we are doing now. That's what we're going to do.
If we talk about the sake of the party, then you shouldn't have done a press conference this morning in the first place. Then you would have dealt with this matter back.
That is Omaru for you. I understand your point excellently. I have a good relationship with Eddie. And I'm sure...
When was the last time the two of you spoke on the phone?
I think I met her. We had on the phone. I can't remember, but I know we met in the funeral not too long ago. And
you greeted each other. You spoke.
Oh, of course. When I meet her, she's my darling. We hug each other.
Don't do that. Efamapa will not be happy with you. Not that.
Stop that.
Say sister. Don't say darling. Continue.
That's not a place, my brother. Don't worry. We'll resolve this issue and move on.
Continue. Okay. Very well. Since you say you resolve it, let's leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, very
That's Courage McCaffrey Nunepeku. He's Managing Director of the TDC Ghana Limited. Tema Mayor, you've heard the MD. He said that this matter will be resolved. He returned your call earlier. I couldn't get you, so it must have been inadvertent. Are you positive that this matter will be resolved, or you believe that there's an unlawful act happening that would have to possibly be taken to the law courts or some higher authority to be reported to? Hello, Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, Umaru. Yes.
I hope you heard him.
Yes, I heard him, and it's very curious. It's funny. It's the kind of gaslighting that I begin to believe that we can't cure from him, because he's been speaking on various fora and media all day, displaying, his total disregard for the law, the permitting structure is not about money. It's about compliance. It's not an exercise that is subject to my discretion or his or any relationship. We permit our own public development. If we're building a school, it has to go through our SPC so that we can apply every consideration that the city is signed up to and make sure that it's compliant in every way, which also includes the community's input. And primarily, we're here to serve the public. And engagement with the public and giving them a chance for input is one of the most important things in the whole regime of permitting. And so he talks about security challenges and calling up reinforcement. Tema is usually ordinarily a very peaceful area. You have an area where the chiefs have given up all of their land to the government for public use and public development. We don't have any challenges with chief or anybody else on lands or properties. So the security challenge that he is alluding to is occasioned by their disregard for the residents, by their disregard for the law. In any case, a person shall not undertake any fiscal development of land within a district unless that person has been issued with a permit by the district assembly. It's the law. So I don't know what kind of arrangement that has existed before now, which is contrary to the law. And this is worrying because sometimes we're looking for explanations for some of the, excuse my language, mess that we find ourselves in. And of course, a lot of them are not a lot, some of them are structural, but in the case where the law has provided for us to do our jobs, it is sad that we will have to fight against the same government to be able to do this. So but in any case, I want to draw your attention again to the fact that there's a court order against this activity, which is also something that must be upheld. So for all of these things, my chairmanship of MESEC is not only about commanding the forces, but it is also about strategizing towards maintaining law and order and the peace within the metropolis. And so this is why it's a concern. If residents are being harassed, they're being beaten up, and they believe that it is coming from the government, it is my responsibility to deal with all of that. So these are some of the issues.
It's good you mentioned the government. He says in the interest of the party and government, this matter will be resolved privately. But clearly you believe that there's a breach. Do you think you can deal with this considering that this is a member of your party and you may be seen to be taking on one of your own in this agenda of yours? Because there's a view that this public spat was not even unnecessary.
Well, I think that those who do wrong and those who engage in criminality they're always dependent on our predilection to hide things, to continue to do what they do. There's no doubt that these activities are illegal in the interest of the integrity of our government and of our party. I'm very sure that a state-owned enterprise, one that is manned by an appointee of His Excellency the President, should be the last to be caught in this kind of activity. But these activities have gone on for 2 years. And you see, Umaru, let me come again. I think that political resolution is for the things that are not clear. You know, if you catch a thief stealing, I don't think that you need clearance to effect an arrest and to process them to court. And here it is, it's a flagrant disregard for the law. I do not think that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama expects us to bring this to his table. Because if we did, it would assume, or we would then have to presume that he has an instruction contrary to the law to give us in this matter. I think it is simple. We must all face our mandate, and the TDC has refused to do so till date. If you have somebody who responds to you and tells you that you do not have the mandate to ask them to dialogue, they tell you that you do not have the right to come onto site and say, please stop work so that we can go and resolve it. I don't know when and where we're going to resolve it, but I dare say that the law does not ask us to go anywhere else, which is what we've done for 2 years, and it's getting nowhere. We need to resolve this here in Tema, which is where all are occasioned. I just want to ask a question. If this is how he conducts himself in Hope, if this is how he conducts himself in Kumasi, where they've just acquired a huge portion of space for development, this is unacceptable in Tema, neither for the residents or for the government.
Finally, what is your relationship with this MD? He says you are his darling. I believe that should have sister at the end there. Do you have a good relationship?
Well, the only relationship that I'm interested in is the professional one. And if he does not put my government into disrepute, and if he respects the mandates that each of us have and allows us to serve Ghana in peace, I think then I would consider that a healthy relationship. That is not the relationship that he has agreed to foster till date. And so I speak to you in my capacity as the mayor of Tema, and in the interest of governing Tema, in the interest of serving its citizens. I think that his conduct and the way that he's leading his organization is not aligned to what is acceptable, and so I'm not sure about this darling business.
Thank you.
I would be darling with anybody who respects the rule of law and is serving with integrity the public that we're all bound to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Abby Bright. She's the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive. Earlier you heard Courage McCaffrey Nunepeku, Managing Director of the Tema Development Company, well, now TDC, it is Company Limited. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. When we return, business news and then talk back.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Introducing Ghana's leading pay-as-you-copy photocopier leasing company. Lease an A4, A3, heavy-duty or production machine and pay for only the copies made, or design your own payment plan. Simple and tietia. That's not all. Incredibly, toners, repairs, maintenance, follow-me printing, centralized tracking all come free of charge. Remember, financial prudence is the name of the game. Folks, forget about the expensive gimmicks and be smart. Join the hundreds of satisfied clients across all the 16 regions and every sector of the economy and save over 60% of your printing costs. Visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244-644048. Be prudent and lease a copier. Terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease is a wholly owned Ghanaian company. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Live your dream now at Eden Heights. Move into our beautifully finished and ready to move in 3 and 4 bedroom apartment or penthouses thoughtfully designed for modern living today. Enjoy the serenity of a secure gated community with a fully equipped sports complex, landscape surroundings, ample parking, 24-hour security, reliable backup utilities, and convenient access to shopping, entertainment, and everyday essentials. With up to 3 years interest-free payment plans and mortgage financing options available, owning your dream home has never been easier. And here's the good news. Pay 50% or more and move in today. Book a viewing now on 0501 531 444 or 445 and on our website at www.edenheights.com.gh. Eden Heights, the heights of modern living.
Charlie, I'm nice. I get some serious meeting. Allah, motion. But Charlie, no credit today. Oh, but you relax. More day.
Hey, what funny.
Yes, so I borrow small, sort myself out. I pay back. We move. Spot there. Ah, Charlie, you sure say you pay back? Yes, so that anytime somebody else they need them, more day. Be like I can't borrow some more. Hey, you this boy. Don't go there and disgrace yourself. Allah, motion.
Responsible borrowing with a real Flexo for today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. Borrow, sort them, pay back. More day.
Hello passengers, welcome aboard Air Tanzania flight TC235. This is your captain speaking. Honeymoon is heading to Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar. Get ready for unforgettable memories. Business travelers, we hope you also make time to experience the beauty of East Africa. Sit back, relax and enjoy the rest of your flight.
Fly directly from Accra to East Africa 3 times a week with Air Tanzania. Whether for business or leisure in Guangzhou, Dubai, Zanzibar or beyond. Fares are from $550 USD. Book now at airtanzania.co.tz. Call 0270-264-200 or visit our office adjacent to the airport post office. Transport your goods and services in Africa and beyond only with Air Tanzania. Air Tanzania, the wings of Kilimanjaro.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. If you're listening to me while watching Channel 1 TV, the volume muted, of course, you'll be seeing Samuel Attah-Mensah, Judankan Yang, and Mr. Bohinsin at the Zonda Tech Auto Sale and Expo 2026, an event organized by Channel 1 Television, powered by Citi FM by Zonda. It was an auto sale today, and I was there actually. The cars I saw, I'm planning to buy for a number of reasons. There were banks there that were willing to give loans as well. There were insurance companies that were ready to insure. So if you did not hear about it or you did not know about it, tomorrow, on the N1 highway, before Jowulu, if you're coming from Achimota, on your right, there's Zonda there, and that's where we are doing the auto show. You should pass through and look at the beautiful cars. And I believe that will be one of the stories that Mr. Daniel Odru would be sharing with us here on the business segment on Eyewitness News. So please tell us other stories in business.
Right, Mr. Amadu, thank you very much. Accra Brewery Limited has called on the government to postpone the implementation of newly approved increases in excise duty on locally manufactured beer, arguing that further consultations are needed to assess the potential impact on businesses, consumers, and the wider economy. Under the approved reforms, the excise duty on locally manufactured beer is expected to rise from 32.5% to 40%, while beer products with high local raw material content, including cassava-based beer, will see a sharper increase from 10% to 25%. The appeal was made by ABL Country Director Tatukule Longwa at the Association of Ghana Industries AGI Second Quarter Business Barometer Presentation and Corporate Forum in Accra.
These proposed changes would place a significantly greater tax burden on locally manufactured products, particularly those that support local agriculture and domestic value addition. The impact on the industry would affect production costs, pricing, market demand and employment, and future investment decisions. Let me be clear, our appeal is not against taxation, nor is it opposed to government's legitimate objective of mobilizing revenue for national development. We fully recognize the importance of a fair, efficient, and sustainable tax system. Rather, we are advocating for a measured, consultative, and sustainable approach that balances the revenue mobilization with economic growth, local manufacturing employment, investment, agricultural development, and consumer welfare. Today, we respectfully request consideration of postponing implementation of the approved excise bill to provide government and industry with the necessary constructive engagement with government, AGI, and all relevant stakeholders to find solutions that support Ghana's economic transformation while strengthening local manufacturing.
Accra Brewery Limited Country Director Tatukule Longwa. Meanwhile, business confidence in Ghana remained relatively strong in the second quarter of 2026 despite persistent cost pressures, limited access to credit, and growing competition from imported goods. The Association of Ghana Industries' latest business barometer recorded a business confidence index of 108.7 in second quarter of 2026, marginally lower than the 109.5 recorded in the first quarter. Speaking at the same event, CEO of the association said Chuma Kwabwa said despite the optimism, the survey identified the high cost of electricity as the biggest challenge.
The current one that we're looking at, it drops slightly from the first quarter, but it's still way above the baseline. So it means that generally speaking, people are satisfied with the confidence of the business environment. And that is determined by the fact that the macroeconomic conditions have improved significantly. But in our interaction with them and based on the survey, people are satisfied with the level of the macroeconomic stability that we are experiencing now. Because as we see, inflation has dropped, exchange rate has been within a certain reasonable range for a long time, and interest rate is still coming down. Exchange rate is good. So when you put it all together, that's what gives you the point and on the graph, and it shows that business confidence level is reasonably high. Now it has implications because when people are confident about the business environment, it means that the tendency to expand and invest is higher. So that is all positive. Of course, this is not at the expense of the fact that there are some risk factors, and they are looking at. They pointed that out in our survey.
CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe, has defended the Cocoa Board Bill 2026, criticizing what he describes as misinformation surrounding the legislation. Speaking at the launch of the Chamber of Cocoa Marketers, Dr. Abe said the bill will transform Ghana's cocoa sector and does not prevent farmers from adopting good agronomic practices. He said the legislation is instead intended to strengthen the protection of cocoa trees and prevent their destruction.
The success of the reforms require the cooperation and participation of all stakeholders, especially members of this chamber gathered here today. It is therefore unfortunate, still speaking about the bill, that we have persons or group of persons who have gone on a misinformation and disinformation drive. For instance, you take the issue of protection of cocoa farms. In all our consultations and meetings with farmers, and I'm happy that they are here, you go around and the two key things that stand out in your interaction with them and what they want done are about prices and the destruction of cocoa farms. We got to BBNE and a group of farmers came to us and informed us that 3,000 hectares of their cocoa farms were being destroyed for the setting up of a bauxite refinery. Every single week, I receive petitions from farmers who come complaining that their cocoa farms are being destroyed for one activity or the other. If it is not mining, it's lumbering. If it's not lumbering, it's real estate. What this new bill seeks to do is to deal with this problem comprehensively.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe. The Central Securities Depository is stepping up efforts to make Ghana's capital market more accessible to the public through digital technology. The move follows the launch of CSD Investor Connect, an investor-facing digital platform designed to make access to capital market services more convenient and transparent. Head of Operations at the Central Securities Depository, Faustina Coleman, says technology is changing how investors access financial services and manage their investments.
Following the go live of CSD Investor Connect, our investor-facing digital platform. Investor Connect is an important milestone in our broader efforts to bring the capital market and to make it more accessible, more transparent, and more convenient for investors. We recognize that providing a platform is only one part of the journey. It is equally important that the public understands what the CSD does, how the capital market works, what opportunities are available to investors, and how they can make use of the services and infrastructure that support the market.
Head of Operations at the Central Securities Depository, Faustina Coleman. Now, day one of the Channel 1 TV Zonda Tech Auto Sale and Expo has opened with the Chief Executive Officer of Zonda Tech, Yang commending Channel 1 TV's Heritage Caravan Initiative. Speaking at the Expo, she said the event goes beyond a vehicle exhibition, describing it as a platform with the potential to stimulate business opportunities.
I told Mr. Simmons, I said that you need a one power pickup. Mr. Simmons said, "Oh, you China pickups. Before I used the one China vehicle, the experience was not good. Why should I patronize a China pickup where there are Toyota and the Nissan and other brands in the town?" I told Mr. Simmons, I said, "Okay, now don't pay me any advance payment. I give you 6 months to pay. And then I want you to use the pickup in the dirty roads. Don't use it on the good roads." They said, "Oh, really? Then we have this city touring the whole country coming up. Now pull your pickup up and let's do a test." Okay. Then immediately we started that tour. Then after that tour, the feedback we got from the drivers was tremendous. Mr. Simmons immediately said, "Okay, me myself, I want to buy one more." Then he used it. Now for 3 years. Then later, I said, "Mr. Simmons, you cannot only use my vehicle. You need to understand my dream. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to sell your dream to people."
Chief Executive Officer of Zonda Tech, Yang. Now, from space phone to MTN, telecommunications giant MTN Ghana has over the past 3 decades evolved into one of the country's leading telecommunications companies. As part of activities marking its 30th anniversary, MTN Ghana has presented 3 brand new Toyota Land Cruiser Prados to 3 lucky winners of the MTN at 30 promotion. The MTN at 30 promotion is rewarding customer loyalty with 9 brand new Toyota Land Cruiser Prados, as well as more than 10 million cedis in cash and data prices, reflecting the company's vision of using technology and connectivity to bring Ghanaians together. Speaking Citi News, Chief Customer Experience Officer for MTN Ghana, Jemima Kotel Walsh, urged all eligible customers across the country to participate and stand a chance of winning exciting prizes.
MTN is 30 years old, and MTN is here because of our customers, and it's only right that we also give back to our customers, our way of saying thank you for 30 years of loyalty to the brand. So the MTN at 30 promotion is still ongoing. There's still 6 more Land Cruiser Prados to be given away, and a lot of cash prizes and lifestyle rewards. So I'd like to encourage all customers not to give up. We've just given 3 vehicles away, but there's still more, as I said. And so keep spending, keep using your airtime, buying and using airtime, data, buying bundles, doing mobile money transactions, browsing. Just keep using and accumulate points, and it gives you a chance to also win.
Chief Customer Experience Officer for MTN Ghana, Jimaima Kotel Walsh. And that's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Daniel Odro-Mensah. Many thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Odro-Mensah of the City Business Desk. It's now time for Talk Back, brought to you by Valex Lease Equip Limited. Valex Lease affordable document management solutions. And I'm going to bring your messages that you've been sending to us on the show. Let me start from the bottom up. So let's take it from the bottom. Romanus Derry in Abofo says, the number of deaths on our roads these days is alarming. When will we be serious as a country? Charles Kumsin is an architect, and he says, see how state institutions are colluding to disregard the law. This exposes the rot in the system. The TDC MD I'm not sure what you're trying to say. So why chase private developers for permit? See why Ghana floods? Alex in Community 25 says, it is clear the TDC CEO is dodging the true issues raised by the MCE by refusing to respond directly to all the accusations. They have defied a court order, brought in protection from outside, and the loss of long-standing convention is now replaced by a new law. This one from Roland in Site 3 in Tema. He says, don't be deceived by the soft-spoken nature of the TDC MD. It's high time we called out this MD of TDC for the utmost disregard and disrespect he's been exhibiting toward the very community in which he wants to raise a new building. He set his eyes on the land since the first week of his appointment. The community has revolted about how congested the neighborhood is becoming and the health effects, but he's hell-bent to push it through nonetheless. Leadership is service and not about money. TDC can do better than this. They've got a lot of prime lands around that they can build on. What's it with the Site 3 and 8 land for TDC? They haven't even developed the Kaiser Flats demolished recently, but chasing after the few plots within the Site 3 and 8 and cutting down trees for money. And then this one from Sicho says, who deployed the National Security Service personnel to the site? TDC? If yes, do they have such powers? Who sanctioned the movement of such personnel? Can they be punished? Anyas Ghazali in Tamale Central says, the only option left for the MPP to recapture power in 2028 is to vote massively for Mr. Paul Afoko as the national chairman of the party. He holds the key to success in the party. Francis in Tema says, how difficult is it for the proper authorities to fix all street lights and the traffic lights in Accra? Almost 90% of the street lights in Tema never function. The traffic light at the Community 11 intersection is a landmine waiting to explode. Please, can you ask the regional minister or the mayor of Tema what is being done about it? Unfortunately, I had it earlier, but I'm now seeing your question. Obede Ram says, the lawlessness in this country is shocking and it hurts so much. Just this morning, people lost their lives in a terrible accident on the Ofankome Road. We're still mourning, still in shock and pain. But then right in front of Vodafone, that's Telecel in Kwame Nkrumah Circle, a truck driver overloaded his vehicle so high that the load touched the road's height warning signs. The very warnings meant to prevent accidents like this one or the one that happened in the morning. No caution, no lessons learned, nothing. It's infuriating. That is a message from Obe De Ram. Chijoke in Tema Community 25 says, road crashes on our roads has become one too many. The drivers and car owners should be allowed to install harsh headlights on their vehicles because doing so will risk the lives. Okay, so they should not be allowed to install harsh lights, you say. Michael Entry Bosiaku in Abofu Okaikwe says, our problem is the reactivity of our leaders instead of proactiveness. We will talk like parrots after a disaster or misfortune and as usual go back to sleep. This one, do I see the name of the sender? Let me, okay. Jay in Tema says, the tipper trucks speed. They want to cover many trips and make good sales for the owners and themselves. And if they catch up to you on the road, especially at night, they engage the high beam, drive very closely behind you, and some use the horn just to get you off the road for them to pass. Yeah, that's true. I've had experience. William says, I think as a country, they should start sentencing drivers who don't obey traffic regulations. How can you drive 120 kilometers per hour to 140 kilometers per hour? Haji Alima from Nima says, Dr. Baumia's leadership with the police. Okay, I don't think we had a story like that here. on Eyewitness News. Stafamba David in Chebi says lawyer Bafo ignored the president, ignored the attorney general, ignored OSP, ignored EOCO and all the law enforcement agencies, and wiggled his way to parliament and wanting the parliament to set up a bipartisan public inquiry to look into AXA scandal. That tells you how politicians are. Well, that's how we end today's edition. That was Talkback, brought to you by Valex Lease Equipment Limited. Valex Lease affordable document management solutions, ending tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. We'll be back tomorrow at 1700 GMT. Thank you for listening and have a good night.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.